Uh, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear participants. Welcome to this session of Islam Study Circle. We'll start off this session by discussing a portion from the Quran. The portion that we'll be discussing today has a very important, uh, I would say, influence on our lives, because this portion is something that deals with the moral and ethical development in our character. So remember, the Quran says that the worship rituals that all of us follow and the worship rituals that we are required to offer, they are not an end in themselves. They are a means to an end. And that end itself is to become a good human being, a good person. So outlined in these verses that we'll be studying today are the 10 commandments of the Quran, similar to the ones that are also found in the Torah. And they basically relate to how we can become a better person. And perhaps this is the most comprehensive passage in the Quran that encompasses all these qualities, the qualities which a believer should try to imbibe in himself or herself, and at the same time, some of the disqualifications or some of the bad habits that he or she should try to get rid of. So I'm just going to read the translation because of the longest passage, and we'll discuss it briefly. So it starts off with, and make no other deity than God on the day of judgment, lest on the day of judgment you are left blameworthy and disgraced. So the commandments start off with this very first directive, that as far as associating partners with God is concerned, this is a ethical misdemeanor. It is a moral sort of corruption in our behavior. We know that there is one God, and had there been more gods, this has been explained in the Quran a number of times, that God Himself would have been the first to inform us that there are more than one God. In the absence of such an information, if human beings ascribe or attribute partners to Him, then God says that this is ascribing falsehood to Him or imputing falsehood to Him, and this is something which is unforgivable. Next, it is said, and your Lord has enjoined you to worship none but Him, and to be very kind to your parents. If either or both of them reach old age in your presence, be not ill-tempered with them, nor scold them, but speak to them respectfully, and treat them with humility and tenderness, and pray, Lord, shower your mercy on them the way they cared for me in childhood. Your Lord fully knows what is in your hearts if you remain obedient. He is very forgiving to you, forgiving to those who turn to Him. So this aspect or this paragraph or these set of verses, as you can see, they relate to the rights of parents. And if you look at the Quran, you'll find that on many occasions, right after the obligation we owe to God Himself, the obligation we to owe to our parents is mentioned. So previously, what is said here is that worship God alone, because He is your creator. He is the one who has brought into existence and also sustained you. So no one else but God is worthy of worship. And the very next verse says that be kind to your parents. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And this is especially mentioned that when one of them or both of them they reach old age, then you have to be very, very respectful and kind to them, because you see, in this age they do become a bit repetitive. They do become a little irritable at times. They ask for things in a childish way. They behave like almost a child, an infant. So we are told that in all such instances, we must be very respectful to them. And in fact, the rudeness should be something that should not even be thought of. And you can see that the Quran emphatically says, وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا, that don't scold them. And وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا, instead of scolding them, you must speak to them politely, speak to them sympathetically. And don't forget that you were infants when you were growing up in their arms and in their laps, and they were taking care of all sorts of tantrums that you were throwing. They were taking care of you the way, I mean, a selfless person takes care of the children. So these parents showed this selflessness, and now it is the turn of their adult children to show this selflessness. Yes, one thing that you might need to note here is that the Quran has said that be kind to your parents. And this is a motive that you'll find recurring in the Quran many times. At no place does the Quran say that you have to obey your parents, which is one of the things or one of the misconceptions that is found amongst Muslims. They think that parents have almost unconditional and absolute authority over their parent or their children, and hence they can direct them to do whatever they want to, the clothes they want to wear, the profession they want to adopt, the spouse they want to marry, and from the smallest of things to the greatest of decisions, they think that parents have a right to ultimately give their final verdict. And this is something which is a concept that has become popular, but as much as it is popular, as far away as it is from the Quran itself. So there is not a single verse in the Quran that says that you have to obey your parents. At all instances, the words are that you have to be kind to your parents. You have to be very, very affectionate to them, must not be rude to them, must not be imprudent to them. They must not think that they are unwelcome. And yes, this is something that we owe to us. And this set of verses actually starts off with this beautiful prayer, which says, "Waqur Rabbir hamhuma kama rabbayani saghira," that pray, Lord, shower your mercy on them the way they cared for me in childhood. So this showering of mercy is something which is like a very, very, I would say, affectionate and a moving prayer, a supplication that God, the way they were caring and affectionate, and they went out of their way, they left no stone unturned to instruct us, to groom us, and now, please, when they are in this need, please help them, have mercy on them, have affection on them, because there are some things only you can do. We can do our part, but a better part of all these things is something that only you can do. Now the verse continues, and then that encompasses some of the other relationships that, of course, are forthcoming, and they are ones that come right after the parents themselves, and they also encompass some of the weakest sections of the society. So the words are, "And give to the near of folk their due, and also to the needy and the traveler." So again, this is something which is very understandable, that people who are close to us, especially who are our blood relatives, people who would like to be part of our family, and in fact, they are part of the family, they are ones who should be shown equal affection to. And not only they, but it is said that آتِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهُ وَالْمَسَاكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ, that you must also pay the due, or what is due, or what is your obligation towards people who are needy and those who are travelers. Those in need, of course, it does not require any explanation. A person in need is someone, whenever we've come across such a person, it becomes our responsibility to see how we can help that person, how we can take care of that person. And the traveler here is, of course, mentioned in the specific context, that as far as traveling is concerned, remember, this is something that was always a problem, or it was always a means of great discomfort, especially people who were not well off in those times, because traveling meant that you were at times relocating yourselves, at times you were seeking asylum or help or support, and hence the person himself or herself would be left at the mercy of the country or the city that he would be traveling to. So especially you have to be kind to them and do as much as you can for them. And then something very important is mentioned, and which is, do not squander. Do not squander your wealth wastefully, for the wasteful are Satan's brothers. So squandering of wealth actually means that you start spending on things which are absolutely useless and needless. You don't need them. And you keep on spending on things which are of no use to you, but they primarily become a means of your show off. And in this way, you waste wealth. And why is this mentioned so emphatically? The reason, of course, being that wealth is like a trust that has been given to us. We have been entrusted with wealth, not only for our own use, but also so that we can spend that wealth for the welfare of the people around us, especially the underprivileged, especially those who need our help, and they need our support. So such people are ones who must always be there for. If they are around us, we should always in a position to have something for them. But if we keep squandering wealth right, left, and center, more often than not, we'll be left nothing with us to help such people. And the comparison is something which is very telling. It says that people that who squander their wealth, they are kanu ikhwan shayateen, which means they are like brothers of Satan. And wakana shaytanu li rabbihi kafura. And as far as Satan is concerned, he is very ungrateful to his Lord. So it is like saying or telling us that this squandering of wealth is a show of ingratitude, because wealth was something that we should have spent on our own needs and on the needs of the society. But when we squander away wealth, then we show this ingratitude to God. And then it is said, and if you have to ignore those in need because you are still seeking your Lord's bounty for which you are waiting, then at least speak to them gently. Again, something very, very pertinent, that at times people come to us, they ask for their needs, but we are not in a position to help them. So, what should we do? We should not tick them off. We should not speak to them harshly. We should not be irritated by them. We should just politely and gently refuse that, sorry, at the moment I am not in a position to help. So, the regret also, if you have to regret someone, that should be very, very gentle, very, very endearing. A person should not think that he or she is being insulted. Self-esteem must always be respected. And do not be stingy or extravagant, so that you should either earn reproach or be reduced to indigence. Again, these two extremes, that either you're a spendthrift, you keep spending and spending. So squandering wealth means that you spend money at wrong instances or on wrong things or things which are prohibited. But when you're overspending, as is the case here, that you're totally, a spendthrift, then it actually means that wherever you need something, let's say you need two pairs of clothes or three pairs of clothes, you end up buying 20 or 30 of them. So instead of keeping your need in a certain amount, keeping it in check, you start spending mercilessly, I would say. And this is again something which God says that if you do that, then this is going to earn you reproach. And if that is not the case, then at least you yourself will be reduced to indigence, because if you keep spending, the result would be that you would self lose that wealth. Indeed, your Lord gives profusely to whom he pleases and sparingly to whom he pleases. He is aware of his servants and observes them. So again, a small caution that don't forget that whatever you do is in God's entirely. It is in his notice, and he is going to take care of whatever you're doing and reward you or punish you accordingly. And do not kill your children fearing poverty. We provide them as well as you. This is because killing them is a very dreadful crime. Something that was rampant in the Arab society of those times, especially killing their infant girls, is pointed out here. It's something horrific. One cannot even imagine that this could have taken place. But yes, they would bury their girls alive. They would kill them, and they would think that because they are not earning hands, so they will be responsible of more poverty. So the philosophy is that God says that it's not you who are going to provide your children. Don't worry about that. It's me. I have provided you, and I'm going to provide your children. And you should certainly not even think of doing such a thing. And do not even go near adultery, because it is blatant vulgarity and a very evil path. Again, adultery is something which actually axes from the very roots the institution of the family. The institution of the family is something which is based on the fidelity and the faithfulness of the spouses. And if a person is habitually involved in such practices, he becomes an adulterer, he has extramarital relations, he can never be faithful with his wife, and the wife can never be faithful with the husband. And this is going to be something that's going to cause a death knell for the family itself, and the children especially are going to be the worst affected. And do not unjustly kill any person whose life has been held sacred by God. And if a person is killed unjustly, we have given his heir an authority. And then he must not exceed bounds in his revenge, because he has been helped. Again, killing someone is out of bounds. It is beyond any human need or intervention. If there is something that is to be done, of course, there are crimes for which human beings can be put to or sent to the gallows, then They are the responsibility of the state. Only the state has this responsibility, and no person has this leverage or this opportunity or this authority to kill someone. If he has seen someone killing anyone, or if seen someone doing something that is worthy of such a punishment, then he has to report this crime, and this can only be forgiven. This crime can only be forgiven if both the state and the heirs of the killer, I mean, they pardon of the killed person. They pardon the person who has killed. And do not even go near the wealth of orphans except in a goodly manner until they reach maturity. Again, something very important, especially because orphans, they are a vulnerable part of the society. People can just uh, gulp their wealth. They can just make away with it, especially if those they are young. That should not be the case. One should not even think of going near their wealth, of course, until they reach maturity. And keep your promises, because promises will be subject to accountability. Promising someone and then keeping your word, again, it goes without saying, it is something that has to be honored at all cost. Give full measure when you measure and weigh with correct scales. This is better and fairer with regard to the consequences. Again, something very important, that whenever we weigh and whenever we measure something, of course, this is something that goes on every day in the markets, in shops, wherever merchandise is sold or is bought. This is an everyday affair. So any hanky-panky, any misdemeanor here is something that can easily be done. So it has been a very emphatic directive here that you should weigh with correct scales and also measure correctly. And do not go after what you know not, because eyes, ears, and heart, each of them shall be held accountable. Again, going after things that are beyond one's reach and making conjectures and speculation is also something that should be refrained from. And one should always think that one's eyes, ears, and one's intellect, all of them, they will be held accountable for whatever misdemeanor we do. And tread not on earth with arrogance, because neither can you cleave asunder the earth nor reach the height of the mountains. The evil of each of these to your Lord is very displeasing. The last thing which is mentioned here is to refrain from arrogance. Arrogance is something that is absolutely unbefitting. It is something that makes us feel about ourselves as if we are superior. In fact, it is a superiority complex that at times goes unnoticed. So the Quran has said especially that you must be humble. So the opposite of arrogance is humility. So in effect, it is humility which is the real jewel in the crown of the qualities of a believer. If this is the topmost achievement that he can acquire, that he should become a humble, down-to-earth person, own up to his mistakes, always think that other people might be better than him or her. So some of the things that make us humble in the path of God are ones that are difficult for us, but then this is the cost that we have to at times bear for being a person who is liked by God. So now we come to the next section or the next segment, and this is a hadith that we will be studying. And this hadith has been taken from the Al-Jami al-Sahih of Imam Muslim. I'm going to read the translation. It says, Abu Huraira radhiyallahu anhu stated that the Prophet said, "He who strives to earn and spend on widows and the poor is like the one who strives in the cause of God." Again, something very nicely and beautifully said in very moving words, that widows, as we all know, they are also vulnerable in our society, in many societies, because at times they're not always working women, as is the case today in many parts of the world. I mean, still there are women in the world who were dependent on their former husbands or their deceased husbands, and hence they need help. And at times, even the parents or the brothers are not there for this help. So they become responsibility of the state and the society. And anyone who is like a person who helps a widow, and as this also hadith also says, who helps the poor, is like the one, kal mujahid fi sabilillah, as if he has striven in the cause of God, which is something very rewarding. So to strive in the way of God, to strive for the cause of God is something that is not just in the battlefield or not just in suppressing our desires. It's also in the fact in helping out people who are in need, especially widows, The plight of the widows, one can perhaps not even imagine, because they are in a situation in which their own self-esteem has becomes compromised whenever they have to ask for something. So that is why the Islamic State has to step in and cater for all widows who are not able to support themselves. We now come to the third segment, and this is related to the Bible. So the verse that we will be studying today is verse 6 of chapter number 22 from the book of Proverbs. This is a book that was revealed to Solomon. Prophet Solomon, of course, we all know he was the son of Prophet David, or Prophet Daud, as the Quran says. So the words are, if a child is trained up in the right way, even when he is old, he will not be turned away from it. So the bottom line here is that grooming children, instructing them, educating them is something that must be done at the right time, when they are growing up, when they are in this impressionable age, when they are 2, 3, 4, or 5 years old, when they listen to you, in which you can become a role model. And often we see this phenomenon, which I often call as absentee parenting. So that is the time when mothers and fathers, they are away from their children, they're doing their own jobs and they're involved in their own uh, engagements, and absent from their children, who are being looked after that by their maids, or maybe by their grandparents, or by others, but not by themselves. This is of paramount importance to note, that if you have brought a child into this world, it's a responsibility that you have, a big responsibility that you have on your shoulders. And that responsibility entails that you not only take care of that child's physical needs, but also his spiritual needs, his mental needs, his physiological needs, his psychological needs. And these needs are what make a person what he or she is going to be in future. So a person must be alive to the fact, in fact, both parents must be alive to the fact that the child that they have brought into existence is someone who they have to owe a lot of time, live and create an example, lead by example, make them realize that as parents, they are the ones who are going to show them the way, and not let them fall into evil company, because if they are not going to be looked after by their parents, then there is a very strong chance that they'll end up in the company of people that we would never like. So parenting itself is an art, it's a skill, it's something that we've discussed on these forums a number of times. We must learn that skill before we even think of producing a child, because this is something that is a responsibility. It's a big responsibility, and I do wish, hope, and pray that we are alive to the needs of this responsibility. So, viewers, now we come to the fourth segment, which is normally a moderated segment, and it's mostly a discussion. Okay, this discussion today is about sharing something from your own lives. Maybe this can bring relaxation in the lives of others also, and that is, what is the best means of relaxation for me? So, in other words, what relaxes you the most? And people who'd like to share their means of relaxation should think that they might bring joy and peace and relaxation in the lives of others as well. So over to you, Mariam.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saleem. I'll start off with what I find relaxing. So one is a recent thing, and then the other two are things that I've talked about before. The old things that I've talked about before are nail art, because that doing or creating something by yourself, it brings me this relaxation effect, because I'm focused on that task and I can forget about the other things that I have to do at that time, because I'm in a creative mindset at the moment. The other is playing video games, because whether it's like a cozy video game or something that's more related to fighting, I can sort of take out my negative feelings there instead of wanting to punch someone IRL. So I have that. But recently, I've started making lavender tea, because I've been playing around with trying to make different types of teas and making lavender tea in different ways. Lavender has a very nice relaxation effect. So adding that to teas, and then trying to make it in different ways, or in lattes too. It's been a nice way to sort of end my day on days when I feel a bit more stressed. So those are my 2 cents. And of course, going outside or looking outside and breathing in fresh air, I think those things most people would find relaxing. I wouldn't
Wonderful.
be abnormal
Wonderful.
there. And I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to, oh, sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, I said that this is a wonderful thing that you're doing because you see, relaxation itself is a very, I mean, it's a need of our body as well. We need to relax, we need to enjoy life as well because you see, stresses and tensions, they abound in our lives, and we have so many things to do it in a very specified period of time. So that tenses our body. So we must take time out every day, however much small it might be, to relax because it's going to not only keep our nerves calm, but also it's going to contribute positively towards what we have as targets that we have set before ourselves.
And I think one of the things that I find surprising is once I'm relaxed, I'm able to think more clearly about the next steps that I want to do or where I need to focus
Correct.
my energy on. Whereas when you're
Correct.
in a state of anxiety all the time, that is very hard to do. And I'm
Right.
not seeing raised hands, so Akram Batisa, please go ahead. And I want to see more raised hands. This is something that you all can participate in.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Right.
Well, I like to spend my spare time with my grandchildren when I'm home. I enjoy, playing with them and spending time with them. And outside the home, I like to spend time with my friends, with old friends, which very few are left around. So that's my leisure time these days. I don't do any hard work, hard exercise or nothing. So
Right.
that's
So,
my
mashallah, you spent your life in hard work, and this is the time to relax.
yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And also your grandchildren get to learn
Oh,
from
yeah.
your hardworking days about all the wisdom. So they're lucky to have you around.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Noshad Shafkat, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I second Akram Bhatti Saab entirely. But one more thing that relaxes me immensely is reading. Reading and then writing something if I am in the mood of doing so. Relaxes me immensely. And nowadays, it is mainly reading the Quran and the commentaries and the translations, the various translations. And that relaxes me immensely. And also, as I said, spending time with my grandkids. That is
Right.
something that I cherish immensely.
Right. Uh-huh.
Right.
Thank you so much for sharing, Noshad Saab. Imran Babar, please go ahead.
Thank you. Doctor, we have found in last couple of years, whichever friends can gather, we take a trip somewhere and we go somewhere for a few days. And that's very relaxing. I find it very
Hmm.
relaxing. It brings
Hmm.
back the old university days memories.
Oh,
That I think is, and of course, meeting friends always is very relaxing. It takes you out into those, younger days. So
I'm
that's
sure.
that's
Hmm.
great. The other thing I really enjoy is reading in the morning. I have recently got this book now, Ilmun Nabi. I try to read a chapter or two. In So those things which are different other than normal work. And another thing that I have just found very interesting, and it relaxes me. Uh, I started doing coding. I learned coding in my early days. I mean, when I was in college, and then I left it and I forgot it. And now I started coding again with the help of Chat GPT. So whatever things
Oh.
that I wanted to do, and I don't know that
Hmm.
coding yet, I use AI to write that code and then I test that code for me. So that's
Oh,
something I really enjoy doing.
wonderful.
Thank you so much for sharing. And coding is such an inspirational and skill to me. People that learn coding, it goes over my head. So I'm very I'm very inspired. Thank you for sharing.
Right.
Ahmad, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Right.
These days I like sports very much. I like to see good. My sports is like cricket and tennis. This is usually, if this is a good matches, I enjoy the time very much. But I also like if I have some good intellectual discussions and company, that is also very relaxing for me. But usually
Wonderful.
I do not find it often now.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, that's good.
Yeah, intellectual stimulation. That's nice. And also physical stimulation. That has to be relaxing. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing. We need more hands, or are the rest of you telling me you guys don't relax ever? That can't be it. Come on. In the meantime, Dr. Saleem, what do you find relaxing?
Well, I find reading poetry and history to be very relaxing. Whenever I am free from my chores, I pick up a poetry book or maybe a book on history from various periods of time. And the other thing that relaxes me a lot is I play tennis regularly. So just going to the club and either playing tennis or watching tennis.
Nice, nice. Thank you so much for sharing. And I could attest to the poetry part because I love reading your poetry on every time you send it on the weekly basis on WhatsApp. So I love reading those. Thank you
Me
so much.
too. I love his poetry, and so you guys know I retired 1st of January, so I'm going to Pakistan, and hopefully I'll see sir over there and
Oh, yes,
all,
inshallah.
all my
Oh,
teachers.
inshallah,
That's
that's so
wonderful.
exciting.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
very
you'll
exciting.
be attending the session from there too, then in
Yeah,
person.
I will. I mean, I'm gonna meet all my teachers over there, Sajid
Inshallah.
Saab and Sir Shehzad Saab,
Right.
and yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, inshallah.
Oh,
I called you a couple of times that I could not reach you, so that's why I said I'm gonna. You are in Lahore, or where are you?
Yes, I'm in Lahore.
So inshallah, that's where I'm going. So I'm gonna spend a couple of weeks in Karachi with my friends, and then I will come to Lahore. All my
Okay.
friends are
oh,
in PIE.
nice.
Okay, looking
Inshallah.
forward.
Yeah, and may you have a very relaxing time over there, inshallah.
Yeah, that would be relaxing. I'm gonna meet my old friends, which few are left still around. So,
Alhamdulillah.
Bismillah, I'll come back and see you guys again.
Inshallah. Arij, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
Right.
So my ways of relaxing are a little similar to you, Mariam. I also am interested in art, so I like creating different things. It's not limited to any one thing in particular. I like to try new things, and that kind of um, stimulates my mind and relaxes it at the same time. So I really enjoy doing that. And second is a bit of a girly thing. I do enjoy shopping. So, like they say, go for retail therapy. So, that actually works for me when I just want to de stress.
So is it more window shopping or actual shopping?
A little bit of both, but yes, more of window shopping.
Right.
Thank you for sharing. I didn't say that, but I also love doing that with my mom. So
Oh yeah, it's even better if you have someone with you,
it's always need a second, third opinion on everything.
Exactly. That is so true.
Thank you. Noshad Shafkat, please go ahead.
So just wanted to add a verse from Omar Khayyam, a book of verses underneath the bough, a jug of wine, a loaf of bread, and thou. Besides me singing in the wilderness, oh wilderness were paradise now. This is
Beautiful.
because you and Minnie like poetry, and I love poetry too. And I have a good memory by the grace of Allah. So I remember a lot of verses from various poets. So, and also, sir, can
Nice.
I take the opportunity to invite Akram Bhatti over a cup of tea whenever he's in Karachi. He can contact me and we can meet and have a cup of tea. Thank you.
Inshallah, I don't have your phone number. I'll ask Mariam to give me your phone number.
I will
Yes,
let you
yes.
both connect, inshallah.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Just
Thank you.
message me
Thank
on
you.
WhatsApp. Thank you so much, everyone. What a wonderful discussion we've had. And I'd like to add that Dr. Saleem, your cat has been getting a lot of nice comments in the past couple of sessions. I think many people find her
Okay.
very relaxing too.
Yeah,
She always
there
adds
she
a
is.
very
She doesn't like to be picked up, but she
Oh,
keeps
she's so cute.
wherever I go, she stays with me. But whenever I pick her up, she just wants to jump out.
She's a very elegant lady, mashallah. All right, so that was it for our discussion segment. We'll move on to our Q&As. If you have any questions related to today's topic or any topic in general, please raise your hand or type them in the chat. Nushad Shafkat, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I wanted to ask about obedience to parents. You said that we have to be respectful to them, but obedience has not been ordained for us.
Right.
But if I recall, sir, in Surah Ankabut, I think it is verse 8, where it mentions that you have to be kind to your parents, except when they ask you to associate partners with me, then you will not obey them. Now, when it says then you will not obey them, and if I recall, Ghamidi Sahib is translated it as उनकी बात न मानो तो उनकी बात न मानो अगर वो तुमसे कहें कि वो तो उनकी बात न मानो, but that would entail obedience generally, except when they try and ask you to associate partners with Allah. Could you please clarify that a bit, sir? Thank you.
Yeah. So you see, the word listen to them is not always in the sense that they give you a directive. I mean, they can give you a suggestion, they can advise you, they can inspire you. So all these meanings are implied there. The Arabic word that is used there is not something which always means that if they order you. It actually means that if in any way they would like you to get attracted or inspired by shirk, then you should not do that, because you see, parents they tell you various things, they make various things attractive towards you, they make them look sweeter. So it is in general said that whatever they tell you, whatever they advise you, it's well and good. But if they advise you to do this, then that should not be the case.
But sir, when it says that to unki baat na mano, or as I think you have
Yes, I mean, that is
translated
like
it,
saying,
then do not obey them.
for example, if you're
Mm.
smoking and they advise you that don't smoke, then you please listen to them. So it's like saying that accept their advice. Accepting an advice, or I mean, honoring an advice is like a suggestion. So remember that when it says unki baat na mano, it's not that they are ordering you to do something. I mean, all that they are doing is they are asking you to do something, in the sense they would like you to follow it. So the word follow does not always mean an order. It also means a suggestion. It also means inspiring people. It also means that advising people. So all these meanings are found there, especially if
So
you read the Arabic part.
could we say that their advice needs to be listened to, but it's not binding on us to follow
Of course,
whatever they
that is
say?
what is meant.
Right,
And we
right,
must
sir.
always
Right,
pay
sir.
heed to their advice, except if the
Right,
advice is something which is either against religion or something that does not suit you.
right, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Imran Babar, please go ahead.
Doctor, I have started reading Zabur and
Okay.
Old Testaments.
Okay.
And, inspired by, these lectures where you, take us through Bible and those things. I have not, generally in Bible, in Zabur, I don't see anything that is contradicting to Quran. I mean, the prayers of Zabur are
Yeah.
very, very powerful. I find them very
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
The only thing is in so far in Bible there was mention of in the book of Genesis that
Mm-hmm.
Nuh alayhi salam he had wine. Now maybe wine was not haram in those days or some or like that.
Uh-huh.
But
Right.
other than that, these books are not transmitted in the
In
original
the original
language.
language. Yes,
The
that's
tra-
it. Because see, the word wine also is something you'll find in the New Testament also, and it's not wine that we think that we drink today. So fruit juice would also be called as wine, and so it's just a question of translation. But since the original is not there, and since we know that the Quran would never have used this word in the original language, so I'm pretty sure the word that was there in the original, for example, Syriac or the Aramaic in which the Psalms were revealed, must have had that very word that we normally talk of in the form of fruit juices, which are not fresh juices.
but I found, thanks for introducing this. I found Zabur duas extremely powerful, very powerful,
Oh
very, very
yes,
uplifting.
they are. So I think maybe I did relate this incident to you. I had a student many years ago. She was diagnosed with cancer, terminal cancer, and the cancer was such that it was what was very, very painful. This is about, I think, 15 years ago, and she was in a lot of pain, and she would often ask me what to do. And the Quran, of course, she would read and try to alleviate her pain. But I remember telling her to read the Zabur or the hymns, and she really felt very close to God in spite of the pain that she had. It was immense pain, and even the chloroform that you normally give to sedate a person for in such cases was not sufficient. But she found refuge in these psalms because you see they are like they come out of your heart, and they come out of your heart as if the pain that you are suffering is something that can only be alleviated by God. So simply that belief that only God can relieve me of my pain is such a big and great feeling that you, even if that pain does not go away, you have that reassurance in yourself.
Indeed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saleem. Our next question asks, and before we get to that, I just wanted to point out your video has been stuck. If you could just turn it off and then on again, I think
Okay.
that fixes the issue.
Chicken stuck with you. So my technical team tells us that it's working here fine.
Oh, is it just me that it's stuck for?
It's for all of us.
Okay,
The screen's blanked out.
Frozen.
thanks.
Yes, stuck for all of us, man.
His picture was frozen.
Can you check, please?
While that's being fixed, shall I read out the question?
Yeah, please go ahead.
So the question asks, there are two groups of hadith. One group promotes spending in the way of Allah, whatever we have, more than our needs. There are, oh, Dr. Saleem has left. I think we'll just wait until he's back again, inshallah, and then we'll continue. It might be a connection issue. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you all for a very nice discussion segment. That was a very fun one. And oh, Dr. Saleem is back. Thank you for participating.
Can I recite a verse from Umar Khayyam for you again, till he's back?
Yeah, he's just joining in. So
Okay.
how
Please join in.
we end the session with the poem?
Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you. I'll need to be made co-host again. But in the meantime, let me read out the question, Dr. Saleem. There are
Uh-huh.
two groups of hadith. One group promotes spending in the way of Allah, whatever we have more than our needs. There are instances where some companion of the Prophet even gave away their eatables to somebody who asked for it due to hunger. The other group promotes the attitude of spending on oneself, and it should reflect on our ways of living, like good eating, good clothing, etc. How do you reconcile these two apparently opposing themes?
You have to cite the verses because you see, every verse has a context, and I cannot comment unless I have those verses before me and what was mentioned prior and what was mentioned later to that. But just to give you a general idea, the basic verse that is regarding spending is in Surah Baqarah. I think it's around verse. I know the Arabic. It says, "Yes, alunaka maza yunfikun qul af." So they ask you what to spend, and the Prophet said, everything that is beyond your personal and future needs, whether they belong to your, beyond anything which is beyond your present and future needs, whether they relate to your business needs or your personal needs. So that is what is implied, that anything that is beyond your current and your future needs.
So these themes come up in hadiths, they said. It's not from
Come,
verses. From
come
hadith.
again.
These themes, they show up in hadiths.
So again, need to see the hadith. The hadith is even more important because it does not have a context. So I'll have to look that up. If you have the words of the hadith, then please send them to me. I'll first have to see what exactly the Arabic says, and then I can comment.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saleem. Umar, please go ahead.
My question is also regarding spending. I mean, there is always a discussion that what is the right way to spend. Yeah, many things. I am of the opinion that yes, you can spend on yourself
Yes.
reasonably, but the reasonably is sometimes very unreasonable for in someone else's
Okay.
opinion. Like
Uh-huh.
buying a car, like spending on your house, like
Uh-huh.
spending on your clothes. So I mean, how we can define the limit? Because like someone likes a car, okay, but that is beyond his need.
Uh-huh.
Someone spends on his home, which is actually beyond their need. But it happens most of the time, and most of the time they can afford it. So I mean, what should be the limit, Yani? What
I
should we?
think there is one thing is very clear. One distinction that everyone can make is that there are certain things which are necessities, and there are certain things which are luxuries. So anything which is a necessity, and of course, necessities are some things that people may be subjective. Something that can be a necessity for one person can be luxury for another person, etc. So that is not the question. I mean, necessity is someone that everyone should decide for himself or herself. So for necessities, I think if you crave for necessities, if you work for those necessities, it's absolutely fine. And then comes the luxury part. So even the luxury part is something that is different for different people. Some luxuries are purely because if you buy an expensive thing, then it's not for your show off, but it's basically so that it can last longer. So luxuries that basically are bought not because you want to show off or because you want to just boast about them, but because you think that if I buy this once, this thing is going to last let's say for the last 15 or 20 years. So I think if this is the attitude, then there should not be a problem. And lastly, if there is a gray area, then the best judge is your conscience. So look at this in three steps. Necessities is something that one should always go for. Luxury is something that if it is done for the sake of buying something which is more durable, then again, that is fine as long as you're not showing off. And then if there's a gray area, because gray areas are always there in such things, then just ask your conscience.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saleem. I had a question regarding one of the parts from the
Uh-huh.
lectures today about don't kill your children fearing
Yeah.
poverty. But
Yeah.
then there are people that say that Allah will bring you whatever, I guess, nasib that you have if you have children. So, like, they continue to have a lot of children despite being very poor people because they think Allah is going to bless them. I don't know, they both seem like contradictory things to me.
No, you see, for these people don't think that they need to kill children. For them, the more children, that doesn't matter to them. People who specifically have this mindset, I mean, I don't think that, yes, they might be still there, but we don't know perhaps more about them. But in Arabia, especially, because remember, these were the verses that were especially addressing people who lived there. This was a very rampant practice that they would kill their girls, their infant girls. In fact, they would bury them alive. So that was a practice that was there, and they thought that that's just going to make them poor. And that is why the Quran has corrected them by saying that you think that you're going to provide them. That is absolutely wrong. It is we who not only provide them, but you also. So forget about such a horrible notion.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Any more questions? We have about 9 more minutes. If not, while we're waiting for the questions, Amar, please go ahead.
Yeah, this question is not related to today's discussion, if I can ask.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think you will know by my, and I don't have the direct reference now, about a verse where it is said that everyone before his death will believe in Jesus. Am I
Yes.
correct in saying that? Yeah.
Yes.
So there is some confusion in understanding of that. How is that happening, and what is meant
No.
by that verse?
No, that's a different word. It says, وَإِن مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا لَيُؤْمِنَنَّ بِهِ قَبْلَ مَوْتِهِ. It is talking about the people of the book of the times of Prophet Muhammad. That each of them, before they die, they'll know that he is a person who has been sent by God, and whatever he is saying is absolutely true. And this is something that is going to happen before they die. It's not that everyone in the world. وَإِن مِّنْ
Okay.
أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ. From these people of the book.
I mean, they will know about the truth of the
Yes.
prophet, or they will know
Of the
about the
Quran,
truth.
it's the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. And because you see, the next verse is وَيَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ يَكُونُ عَلَيْهِمْ شَهِيدًا, and on the day of judgment, it will be a witness against them.
Right. So that is the confusion, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Shehzad Shafkat, please go ahead.
So just a clarification of a question I asked last week about having the fingers raised at the time of sitting
Right.
in the prayer. So that does that mean that the finger needs to be raised throughout the sitting posture and whatever duas we
I
are
mean, we
asking
don't
and
have
praying?
any detailed description of this. I mean, if you just raise it once or twice, or maybe a little while, so there's no explicit, directive which says that you have to lift it all the time, or it should be for a small period of time. So normally, if you do it for a little while, that should be enough.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Nashad Saab, would you like to read out your poem?
I have a
Mariam,
question for that poem.
it's not my poem. It's
Oh.
it's a piece from Omar Khayyam, translated by
Omar Khayyam.
Fitzgerald,
Oh, yes.
about the world. It
Yeah.
says, "'Tis a checkerboard of nights and days, where destiny with men for pieces plays, hither and thither, moves and mates and slays, and one by one, back in the closet lays." Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Akram Saab, please go ahead.
Sir, a question asked by a Christian to Zakir Naik the other day is Surah Tawbah, ayat number 31. Ittakhazu ahbarahum wa rubbanahum arbabam min dunillahi wa
Arbabam min dunillah. Yeah.
मसीह इब्न मरियम। तो कह रहे थे कि
Yeah.
अल्लाह ताला ने कहा है मसीह इब्न मरियम,
Yeah.
मसीह इब्न मरियम सन ऑफ गॉड।
Ah.
तो ये किस तरह हुआ? उन्होंने जवाब दिया कि वो ऐसे कहा है जैसे हम कहते हैं तुम मेरे बेटे हो। इट्स नॉट बायोलॉजी इज डिफरेंट इन वलद एंड इब्न। दैट्स व्हाट ही एक्सप्लेन। इज दैट ट्रू? दिस 30
Sorry, I couldn't get. But see, the Quran is just telling them,
कुरान
"Ittakhadhu
31 में है,
ahbarahum
इत्तखज़ु अहबारहुम व
wa
रुहबानहुम अरबाबम
rubbanahum
मिन
arbabam
दूनिल्लाहि
min dunillah."
वल मसीह
Yeah.
इब्न मरियम।
Yeah.
तो वो कहे कि अल्लाह ताला ने उनको, मसीह को भी अल्लाह का बेटा अल्लाह ने कहा है। तो उन्होंने जवाब
No,
दिया
no.
नहीं, वो तो ऐसे कहते, हम कहते तुम मेरे बेटे हो, तो इट्स नॉट यू नो लाइक वलद बायोलॉजिकल। तो फिर मैं कंफ्यूज ही हो गया, मैं ये
I need to, actually, I need to look up the verse because I don't think it says this. If you read it from behind,
आई एम
it's
रीडिंग
just
इट।
telling us,
उससे पहली पहली आया जो है ना, वो क्लियर है। पहली आया है वकालत यहूद उज़ैर
وَقَالَتِ
इब्न
الْيَهُودُ عُزَيْرٌ ابن
अल्लाह,
الله. Yeah.
वकालत नसारा मसीह इब्न
النصارى
मरियम
ذلك قولهم
ذالक कौलुहुम
بأفواههم.
बिअफ़वाहिहिम युदाहिऊना कौल लज़ीना कफ़रू मिन क़ब्ल क़ातलहुमुल्लाह अन्ना
Yeah.
यूफ़कून। अगली
Yes.
आया है 31, इत्तख़ज़ू अहबारहुम व रुहबानहुम
Subhanallah.
अरबाबम मिन दूनिल्लाहि वल मसीह इब्न मरियम व मा अमिरू इल्ला
وَمَا أُمِرُوا.
लियअबुदू इलाहन वाहिद ला
Yes.
इलाहा इल्लहु
So you
सुब्हानहु
see, this is very clear, okay, that they regard their priests to be God. Why? Because people, if they regard something to be right or wrong, so that is only the prerogative of God. So declaring something as correct or incorrect, or giving a verdict or an edict which is right or wrong, this verse tells them that this is something that they don't have any authority. Only God has the authority to do so. And if they are doing so, then they are taking God's place, and they are making their own Rahban and their Ahbar, which are their priests and Pandits, to be God themselves or have the same status as God.
अल्लाह तो नहीं कहा ना उनको भी मेरा बेटा है। ओके,
Of course, God did not say that.
या थैंक यू सर, जज़ाकल्लाह।
Thank you very much, Dr. Saleem. Dr. Iyaz Ahmed, do you have a question?
Yes,
Yeah, please go ahead.
I remember one share of great poet Faiz Ahmad Faiz on the question of the Umar Fellow,
Ah,
that वो बात जिसका जिक्र सारे फसाने में था,
ah,
वो बात उनको बहुत नागवार गुजरी।
Nagawar Guzri. Correct.
बात तो ये कही गई है कि इन लोगों ने उनको अपना मसीह ने उनको अपना खुदा बना लिया है। तो
Ah,
इन्होंने इसका माना ले लिया कि लो जी मसीह ने मरियम को अल्लाह ताला ने खुदा करार दे दिया
bilkul.
है।
Precisely. So this is the right application of Faiz
जी
Ahmad
जी
Faiz.
जी 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 शुक्रिया।
Thank you very much. Thanks to all the participants for coming through today and for participating in our lovely discussion segment. I had a lot of fun there. And thank you, Dr. Saleem, for another fantastic session and entertaining us and having your cat around. She brings me so much joy.
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Inshallah. Thank you, everyone.
जजाक
Inshallah, we'll see you all tomorrow.
अल्लाह ताला आपको
And
जिंदगी दे, स्टेज तंदुरुस्ती दे। डॉक्टर साहब आप बहुत बहुत खिदमत कर रहे हैं
Thank you.
हम लोगों की। हम
Thank
जाहलों
you.
को बहुत कुछ आप बता रहे हैं। अल्लाह ताला आपको जिंदगी
Thank
दे,
you.
स्टेज तंदुरुस्ती दे।
Thank you.
जज़ा
Thank you.
देगा इंशाल्लाह।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum
You
warahmatullahi.
send me Dr. Shaukat's
I
telephone,
already
please.
have. I'm ahead of. I already
Okay, thank you.